So, like I said, welcome everyone. Oops. What we're going to be talking about today is treating pain with reflexology, because really there's a lot of things you can do with reflexology to treat pain, but all you need to do is use your fingers. So pain relief is actually right at the tip of your fingertips, and that's what we're going to discuss today. There's also a very special offer at the end, so please stick around, and if you have questions, then please send them to me. And hi Vicky, lovely to see you there too. So a little bit about me. I'm a reflexologist and have been for about 10 years. I'm also a registered nurse and was a midwife in the past as well. I'm passionate about women in prioritising themselves, because I see so many women today who are looking after everybody else's needs and leaving themselves to last. And I really feel that, women should be putting themselves first, because that makes themselves a good example, firstly, to their children, but also it means that they're looking after themselves in their own care, and then they're there for everybody else if they do that. I'm also a lover of nature, the ocean, love gardens and travelling. I love dancing and time with my family and friends. Today, in today's training, we're going to learn how to manage pain rather than just put up with it. So a lot of us have pain, whether it be headaches or, that you get occasionally, or whether it's backache that you have for a long period of time. But a lot of times we just put up with it and accept it as, oh, well, we always get a headache, or, oh, I've had a long, backache for a long period of time. But really, as part of your self-care, you need to prioritise yourself, and that means working on that pain and managing it. And using some simple reflexology techniques, you can actually do that. And we're going to also look at pain and what it actually is, what's involved, what does pain mean, and also what reflexology is from those who aren't familiar with it. We're also going to look at various lifestyle changes that you can make to reduce the pain or relieve it in your life, so it isn't something that is all-encompassing and takes over your life. We're going to find and show you how these techniques can easily be implemented into every day, so that they're not just another task that needs to be done, but it's something that you can include as part of your everyday routine. So we're going to discuss that too, how you can do that. And like I said, we're going to be talking about prioritising you. The top 4 pain complaints that we're going to be talking about today are headache and migraine, period pain, backache, and shoulder pain. And is pain. So what is pain? I mean, what does it mean to you? It's actually a sensation we feel that can start as a mild discomfort or as something more severe. Our brain and our central nervous system detect pain as an injury or an underlying illness in the body and produce a sensation that we feel as pain. We all experience pain in different ways, depending on the severity of it and our tolerance to it. So, some of us may have a very high pain threshold where we find that, we experience pain, but we don't really notice that it's pain unless it is really severe. While some other people may actually feel the pain when it's only a low grade of pain. And there's no criticism of that at all. We just have different tolerances to it. And this is also determined by our emotional and our social beliefs. That is our understanding of pain, and also our cultural beliefs, as some cultures have very different views on pain and how they react to pain and how they experience pain. Stress, anxiety, fear, and even our memory of pain will influence how we perceive it. How we feel it is also influenced by our previous encounters with it. For example, if you've had a really severe headache in the past and you get another severe headache and then another severe headache, the next time you get a headache, you're actually going to expect it to be severe based on your previous experience of it. So that's also something to consider. If you have any questions, please, just type in the chat box. I'm happy to answer them now or also at the end as well. So, do you suffer from acute or chronic pain? Now, there's a difference in pain in how it occurs and the severity of it too. Pain may be acute, where it occurs from a sudden injury, such as a sprain or a fracture, or it may be something like appendicitis, where there's a sudden severe pain that comes on. Headaches can also be an acute type of pain. But this type of pain usually goes once the reason for it is treated. So if you have an injury like a fracture or a sprain, once you treat that, the pain and the area heals, the pain is gone. And same with a headache. If you treat the headache, the pain will go. But pain may also be chronic, where it is persistent and long-term. And this can happen after an old injury that never heals properly. So again, you may have a fracture that is acute pain, but for some reason the bone doesn't fuse properly and you often have pain from it, and that can end up being a chronic pain. It can also be a back injury or back strain over periods of time, period of time, or maybe due to degenerative changes such as arthritis, or it can be associated with an underlying health issue such as fibromyalgia, because fibromyalgia, you can have pain all over your body. In Australia, 1 in 5 people suffer from chronic pain. So that's quite a lot, isn't it? So it's really good to know if we can do something about that pain. So, facial reflexology and pain. How can facial reflexology help me? And actually, what is reflexology? Well, for those who don't know, reflexology is a science that believes that all parts of the body are reflected on the face, the hands, the feet, and the ears. In facial reflexology, we're talking specifically about treating the face, and it looks at the areas of the body most out of balance. So when I look at areas on the face, I feel for what is like deposits on the face, and this shows that the area of the face most out of balance. And it uses a lot of traditional Chinese medicine to determine this. It works on a much deeper level, and it uses, like I said, a combination of traditional Chinese medicine and energy meridians, which are like energy pathways on the face. It also uses acupuncture points, Vietnamese nerve points, which are the ones we're going to be looking at today. And also some of these Vietnamese points occur on the same areas that acupuncture points occur, so they can overflow. And also South American India maps of the face, which are maps of the face that detect perhaps musculoskeletal issues. So they're all reflected on the face too. So if you have problems with muscles or joints, that is also reflected on the face. And it also treats, facial reflexology also treats any underlying condition that can be contributing to the pain. So that is all looked at when you have a reflexology session. And by applying gentle pressure to these points, the underlying organ is actually balanced and the disease process is treated. So that's how the body begins to heal itself. Facial reflexology also helps to relieve stress. It helps the body get rid of toxins through lymphatic drainage, and it boosts the immune system. So it treats the actual pain that you may be experiencing. So it's really a very comprehensive therapy. Reflexology also works on the nervous system to release endorphins, which are our feel-good hormones. And these act on the pain to reduce or relieve it. So feel-good hormones, you have endorphins, you have dopamine and serotonin, and they're all released by the body to relieve pain. Reflexology also helps to relieve stress, and stress actually makes pain worse because stress causes inflammation. And if you have inflammation in the body, then you have more pain because you are able to deal with it less, and the area of pain is actually made worse. So relieving stress helps to reduce the pain. By using relaxation techniques such as reflexology to remove the focus of your pain, the perception of pain will change. So you know what it's like if, say you've got a headache or something like that, but you're distracted by a movie you're watching, or you have a massage, or you have something relaxing. It takes your focus away from the pain. So it takes the emphasis off the pain, and it isn't felt as something as severe. Studies actually have been done in the UK, and they have shown that those who have some control over their pain have a much better chance of recovery. So any questions, please feel free to ask. So pain points, these are the points we're going to be talking about today. And they're based on a Vietnamese form of reflexology called Dien Chan. And this was developed by an acupuncturist, Professor Chow, but only in the 1980s, though a lot of the points and reflexology has been around for thousands of years. But these actual points were only developed fairly recently by Professor Chow. And he called it Dien Chan. And Dien in Vietnamese means face, and Chan means diagnosis or treatment. So it's basically facial diagnosis or treatment. And he found that there were 564 points on the face that are related to the underlying nerves. So out of these, he probably found 200 to 300 that are most effective, and they're the ones that he actually uses every day, or he has used to find treatment for problems. And he found that these points are actually related to the underlying nerves. And what happens when stimulated, the nerve point sends an impulse to the brain. So for example, if you suffer from shoulder pain, when you press on the nerve point for the shoulders, a message is immediately sent to the brain. The brain then sends out endorphins, or our feel-good hormones, as well as dopamine, serotonin, and that reduces the pain. So stimulation of these nerve points is actually a very effective way of reducing or relieving the pain. So today we're going to look at 4 common areas that cause pain. And the top 4 that we're going to talk about today, headaches or migraines, and backache, period pain, and shoulder pain or tightness. Now, quick thing, these points need to be worked in front of a mirror because they're lined up with features on the face, such as the nose, the eyes, the lips, the pupils, and the eyebrows. So they're all lined up with different areas on the face, and you really need to line them up with a mirror so you treat them more accurately, because if you're slightly off and you just think, oh, it's above my nose, I'll press there. If you're not on the right spot, it's not going to cause the reaction you want. You're not going to get the pain relief that you want. So it's important to do that. And just a very quick disclaimer here, always get a medical opinion if you have any sudden, severe or unknown pain before you start treating yourself, because it's always important to know what the pain is, what's causing the pain. It's all very well to think, oh, I've got this pain, I'll treat these nerve points, but you really need to know what the pain is so you can look at what's causing it in case it is a medical condition that needs to be looked at. So don't self-diagnose. And another thing, if you're pregnant, then only work these points in conjunction with a professional reflexologist after a face-to-face consultation. So you really need to see someone in person, because not that these points aren't safe, but if you're pregnant, some of these can actually stimulate the uterus or the ovaries, which isn't what you want. So it's good to have a professional consultation with someone first before you do that. So, okay. I'm going to look at these points now, and just remember that they can be worked up to 3 times a day. But if you have had the pain for a long time, it may take days to a few weeks for your body to rebalance and adjust to the new normal. So if you've got a headache, for example, and you work the points for a headache, then that's fine, because you can do that really easily and it'll get rid of the headache. But if you've had, say, backache for years, it can take time to really treat that, because it's a problem that's been around for a long time. So you need to be persistent in working these points. So what I'm going to do is go to the first one, which is headaches. And I'm just going to show you, I'm going to share so I'm going to stop the screen. I'm just going to go to my thumbnail, I think. I stop the screen from, I don't know. Actually, Dave, can you have my face up so if I can see the thumbnail, please? I can't remember how to do that. Okay, here we are. So I'm just going to show me. Can you all see me? You can just type in if you can all see me, please. Yep, Perfect. Okay, great. So I'm just going to show you how you work these points. So what you do to start with is you rub up and down using your index fingers, rub up and down in front of both ears at the same time, about 12 to 15 times. And just do that quite slowly. And this is like an opening and a closing sequence. So what this means is that you're stimulating the body before we're stimulating the body. You're opening, I guess, the whole body to the points that you're going to work. And there's also a little spine reflected at the side of your ears. And by rubbing up and down that, it's almost like you bring the whole central nervous system, the whole body sort of down a notch. So you're really relaxing the body. And that's what you're doing before you start the points and also at the end when you finish the points. So first one, I'll show you how to work them and where to find them. So a lot of the points are in the center of your forehead. So by that, I mean it could be down the middle or it could be across the center there. And they're lined up with, for example, your nose. So you might have a point, you go up from your outer nostril up to the center of your forehead, or they're lined up, you go across the center and they're lined up with your eye, or they're lined up with in the hollow of your nostrils. So I'm just going to talk through the first one. Can you still see the first slide? Can you just let me know if you can still see the first slide? The headache one. Yep, perfect. Okay, so I'll tell you about these. So with the headache points, for example, you've got your forehead split into, like imagine the center of your forehead across here. Now the green point is actually found between your eyebrows. So you hold firmly between your eyebrows. After you've done the opening sequence, you then press on that spot for about 30 to 40 seconds. Now, if you've got low blood pressure, just do this gently because it can lower your blood pressure a bit. So you press on this for about 30 to 40 seconds. Then you'll go to the next point. So for example, the blue point. So the blue point is found across the center of your forehead in line with the outer edge of your pupil. So not your eye, but your pupil. So this is why you really need to do them in front of a mirror. So you would go across and then down to your pupil. So, or sorry, up from your pupil and across here. So it would be on your forehead in line with that. So you press on that for about 30 to 40 seconds. And then you do the same on the other side. Then you go to the red point. The red point is found at the end of your eyebrows. Sorry, I'll get my glasses out the way. Right at the end of your eyebrows, just on the side of your face there. So you press there for 30 to 40 seconds and the same on the other side. Then the purple points are found in the hollow of your nostril. So you can imagine your nose and you've just behind your nostril, just in that hollow bit, that is a purple point. And that's also really good. And the same on the other side. So that's great for headaches and migraines. Now, you finish off by rubbing up and down in front of your ears again. Now, headaches and migraines can occur for a variety of reasons. It could be stress, it could be tension, it can be dehydration, or it can be hormonal as well. So these points will all help. That particular point, the green one in the center between your eyebrows, is a great hormonal one too, because that balances the pituitary gland. And our pituitary gland in our bodies is like called the master gland, because it is involved with the release of hormones from all the other glands. So it really controls that. So that's a good one to work as well. And headaches can be part of the disease process as well, but this is really good to work for headaches. So next one, I'll just show you back pain. Now, backaches can also occur from posture. It can be from sitting, for long periods of time. It can be from strain, from heavy lifting. It can be related to your work, or it can be degenerative changes. You may have arthritis, and these points will help with backache. So again, rub up and down 12 to 15 times. And then to find the points, the pink one is actually on your nose. So go across from where your nostrils flare out and then go up on top of the nose, and it's just right on there. It's almost like if you actually slide your finger down your nose, there's like a little dip, and it's just in there. And it's level, like I said, with across from there, from the where the nostrils flare out. So press on that for 30 to 40 seconds. Then you've got I'll just mention the yellow point first, because the yellow point is right in the center. So it's right bang in the center of your forehead. And that point is again for backache. You press that for 30 to 40 seconds. And the green one is just above it. And then you do the same, press that for 30 to 40 seconds. And then your blue points are found right in your hairline. So right up in here, and it's in line with the inner corner of your pupil. So not your eye, but your pupil. So go up from your pupil to the inner corner. And that's for the green one, the blue, sorry, got getting confused, blue one, and across the other side as well. Now, it sounds like these take a long time, but they actually don't. And I'll explain that in a moment. Period pain. Now, just a quick thing about period pain. If you've had a bit of a bleed and you figure or you suspect that you might be pregnant, then don't work these points. They're great to work for period pain, but if you have any doubt, you know, that it's not your period, that you are pregnant and you've just had a bleed, don't work them, because they actually stimulate the ovaries and the uterus. But otherwise, for period pain, they're fantastic. So these are all found below the nose. So they're all below the nose, across here, or under the lips. And these are great for period pain. They may not help the first, well, they usually do help the first time you work your period, but not always. Sometimes, sorry, when you have period pain, they may not work the first time, but if you do them regularly, they will. And you will find after you had your first period, your second period, they actually regulate your periods as well. So if you have your regular ones or they're very heavy, this can adjust it as well and really balance them. And yeah, really helps with the pain. So they found, starting off, the red ones either side of that little, like this lump area, well, lump, this little ridge, I should say, we have under the nose. And the red are found either side on that, halfway between the nose and the lips. So you have one red one there and one red one there. And you press on this one for 30 to 40 seconds, then the other one for 30 to 40 seconds. It doesn't matter which one you do first. The green points are found right next to the red. And the green point, you do the red one, and then the green point's right next to it. And this is, you can actually line it up with the inner corner of your eye, come straight down like that. And that one is, you press for 30 to 40 seconds as well, and then do the same on the other side. The blue ones are directly below the red. So you can imagine if you've got two red points there, go straight down and you've got two blue. So blue right under there, you press 30 to 40 seconds, and a blue there for 30 to 40 seconds. And the yellow ones are either side of this little ridge of our chin, there, and they're in line again with the inner corner of the eye. So go straight down from the eye to that one, and then the other one, and then finish off again doing that, rubbing up and down. The next one is shoulder pain. And shoulder pain can occur for a number of reasons. It can be from stress, you know, sitting long periods of time. It can be as a consequence of neck pain, where your neck gets really stiff, or it can be, you know, we're just sitting really tightly at our desks. And also now, with so many of us on computers all the time, your shoulders can get very, very tight. It can also be from an injury as well. So to work the shoulders shoulder points are all across the eyebrows. And the reason for this is because there is actually a Vietnamese map of the face, where you can imagine there's like almost like a little man reflected on your face. So you imagine his head is sort of up here. His shoulders and arms come across the eyebrows. He's got his body down here, his spine, then his buttocks, then his hips, and his legs come like down here to your knees, and down here, your legs and feet. So all the shoulder area is above the eyebrows. The first point is in the lower third of the forehead. And by the lower third, I mean, you can imagine you've got it, you divide it in half, and then just below that, the lower third, that's a really good point for shoulder pain. So you press on that after you've done your opening sequence, press on that for 30 to 40 seconds. Then you've got a green one right on top of your eyebrows, in line with the outer edge of your pupil, not your eye, your pupils. So just go up from that on top of your eyebrow, press firmly for that for 30 to 40 seconds. And the same on the other side. The red one is just on the inner corner of your eyebrow. So if you go in on your eyebrow, just above the inner corner, and this can be really tight, and these can be really tender too, because a lot of us have really tight shoulders. So this can be really tender in there. So press on that for 30 to 40 seconds. And right next to it is a little black point. That's another great shoulder one too. And again, the same on the other side, and then finish. Now, these points only take a few minutes to do, and how I do them is when I go to put my face cream on in the morning, I'll rub up and down in front of, I'll put my face cream on, then rub up and down, 12 to 15 times. And then I'll, press here, I'll press here, I'll press here, whatever I have to do. It only takes a few minutes, and then I'll rub up and down again, and then I put on my makeup. So it's really easy to incorporate into your day. So, okay, we're going to stop the slides of me, please. Dave, if you could stop me, and we'll just continue with the slides. Fantastic. Thank you. Now, a thing to remember with this is to choose one pain point at a time. So if you have back pain and it's been going for a long time, but you get a sudden headache, we'll work on the headache points to treat that. But, if back pain is an issue with you that is really bad, then concentrate on treating your back pain. Because if you do too many things at once, you're mucking up everything. You're not allowing the brain to register the pain that you're trying to treat. So you need to be consistent with it. Ideally, do it 3 times a day. Now, this isn't always practical because we're busy, but at least if you can do it every morning, when you say, like I said, you put your face cream on, then do the points, then put your makeup on, and you're ready to go. And it doesn't take long. And you can even do them at night where, put your face cream on again. If you do at night, you can do that again too, and put them on rub up and down again, rub your points, and then close, rub up and down side of your face again, and you're finished and you're ready for bed. But at least even if you can do them in the morning every day, it gets your body into this routine where it's starting to rebalance. So this will make a huge difference to you. Does anyone have any questions about these pain points that I didn't make clear? Please let me know. Just type in the chat box if there is anything. Nope. Okay, I will keep going. All good? Great. Okay, thanks, Carmel. I'll keep going. So another thing to consider when you're treating pain is your own self-care. And by this I mean that our lifestyles can play, I should say, a huge part in our treatment of pain. So it's all very well to say, oh yes, I've got a headache, I'll take some Panadol or something, or I've got a headache, I'll just do these points. But we've got to look at the reasons behind the pain and why our bodies are stressed. And when they're stressed or inflamed, we actually become more sensitive to pain. Alcohol, smoking, and a poor diet all place extra stress on the body, and these all cause inflammation as these factors all stimulate our immune system. And what happens with our immune system, if it's always under stress or always on alert, this affects our nervous system because it stimulates the brain to produce hormones that bring on anxiety and depression rather than our feel-good hormones. But if we're relaxed and stress-free, our bodies produce the good hormones such as serotonin and endorphins that make us feel better. So it's really good to try and reduce stress on your bodies. Because like I said, if they're stressed or inflamed, they're more sensitive to pain, and that means that pain management techniques may not be as effective. And as pain is made worse by stress, relieving stress through some such as these techniques, like reflexology, or if you have regular massage, or whatever you do to relieve your stress, it's really important in your management of pain. So part of your management of pain means looking at your diet, exercise, meditation, being hydrated with lots of water, and also getting enough sleep. And we're going to briefly look at those. And part of managing pain in our lives means prioritising ourselves. And this means taking back responsibility. And by taking back responsibility, I should say, means that we're accepting that we have the pain, but we're also accepting that we don't just put up with it, we're going to do something about it actively. And this means looking at the way we live our lives and how we deal with pain. Obviously, a medical opinion should always be obtained for any sudden, acute or persistent pain. But if we know the cause of it, we can do something about it. And like I said, reducing stress will reduce inflammation, because inflammation only increases pain. It often helps to look at the emotional reasons behind the pain, because sometimes there was a traumatic event that can bring on pain. So just say you've had a car accident or something that was really traumatic. Well, this can actually bring on pain and bring on memories of pain. And even though you may think you're dealing with the pain, if the emotional stress is still there, it can make the pain worse, and it can make it feel worse as well. Also, there may be some other stress that was involved with, associated, I should say, with the beginnings of the pain. So maybe there was the death of someone in your family when you started to get backache. Often the pain can be associated with this emotional response. So it's important to look at that too. So diet. Now, everyone talks about a healthy diet. We're all told to eat a healthy diet. But did you know that certain foods actually increase inflammation? And the biggie here, the biggest one, is sugar. Now, this includes, sugar is a huge thing, and I know there's been a lot said about it lately, but it really is a baddie, unfortunately, in our diet, because it really causes huge inflammatory response. And sugar's found in, not just sugar that you actually put to cups of tea or something, but sugar can be found in soft drinks, in lollies, in cakes, biscuits, and also in a lot of processed foods. So it's also good to look at, always good, I should say, to look at processed foods to see if they contain high levels of sugar. Other foods include refined flour, dairy, alcohol, vegetable oils such as sunflower, and fried foods. These all increase inflammation. Even though they may not have sugar in them, they also are highly inflammatory foods. So obviously it's nice to have a drink every now and again, but I guess it's making it a regular part of our routine that's important. So generally that our diet is a healthy part of our routine. And by this it means removing or reducing foods that cause inflammation, such as the ones I've mentioned, and replacing them with green leafy vegetables, fatty fish, such as salmon or mackerel, or tuna and sardines, things like that. Nuts are really good for you. Fruit, spices, and spices such as turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, and cloves can make a huge difference. And by anti-inflammatory fruit, I mean things like blueberries, which are really, really good to, even pineapples, they're really good to reduce inflammation. Another thing is exercise. Now, everyone says keep doing exercise, but exercise actually has a lot of more benefits than just increasing your circulation and helping your heart. It also keeps your muscles and joints strong. And weak muscles actually put stress on joints, and they contribute to joint pain. Exercise also helps release feel-good hormones, the endorphins that I mentioned before, but also some anti-inflammatory markers, there's cytokinins, which are anti-inflammatory markers that actually reduce inflammation. And exercise makes you feel good. And it doesn't have to be gym if you don't like gym. It can be, regular walks. It can be swimming. It can be dancing. It can be anything that, Pilates, anything that you enjoy doing. And it's important to enjoy it, because otherwise you don't make it a regular part of your routine. Meditation is another thing that's great for your wellness. And there's been a lot said and written about it recently, but all studies actually show really positive results. And it can be hard if people say, oh, I can't meditate, I can't sit still. But if you do it as a regular thing, even if you start with 5 minutes a day and get a tape, or, there are courses around. I know Ian Gawler has some mindfulness meditation courses, but there are lots around online. And there are tapes you can buy, CDs you can listen to or download, and start off at 5 minutes a day, because it actually brings your whole central nervous system down. It really calms us down. And it's been shown to reduce how we feel pain, because it slows down the activity in the areas of the brain that process pain. So it also shifts our focus away from pain. So if you're meditating, you're concentrating on something else and the pain, your focus is shifted on that. And again, it stimulates the release of endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, and melatonin. Again, all those feel-good hormones. And it's interesting that melatonin is actually a hormone that we need to help us sleep. So by exercising, you're producing more of this hormone, so it leads on to a good night's sleep as well, which is it's always good as well. So being well hydrated is another really important thing. And we're told many times that we need to drink more water, and our bodies are made up of about 75% or so of water. But all functions in the body depend on water. So every single cell in the body needs water. And if we don't have water and we become dehydrated, our bodies become stressed. And what happens when we're stressed? We release cortisol, and cortisol increases inflammation. and this lowers our tolerance to pain. Water also helps soften cartilage. So drinking plenty of water can actually help with joint pain because you're softening the cartilage in the joints. And also remember, many headaches and migraines occur because of dehydration. So drinking water can actually prevent this. Sleep is another really important thing. And this is an essential part of reducing pain, because when we sleep, every cell in our body is rejuvenated. So every night you sleep, your cells are rejuvenated. And if you don't get a good night's sleep, that process isn't occurring. And if you constantly lose sleep, every cell is affected, and this increases how you feel pain. So you need to put some strategies in place to get a really good night's sleep. Things like, going to bed earlier, not staying up till midnight every night, trying to go to bed at the same time, get your body into a routine. Or other things like making the room dark. So your home environment, your sleeping environment is dark and it's really comfortable. It's not cluttered, it's comfortable, spacious, so you enjoy going to bed. You turn off all your devices like your iPads, laptops, phones. Put them off at least an hour, if not a couple of hours before sleep, so you're not distracted by that. Your brain isn't sort of wired up because of all the stimulation. And the other thing is to also make your room as dark as possible. Don't have any other lights. Have block out blinds, because this all affects you getting a really good night's sleep. And the other thing is using these pain points, having reflexology on a regular basis, or having massage, things that release pain, is going to help in your management of it. A lot of these things don't take very long, but you make them a part of your day, you make them a part of your life, and you'll find huge benefits. So just a quick review. Understand your pain. It's something that we have all experienced. And, from it may be something that you think, oh, I don't get pain. Well, it could be just a cut finger, or, you burn your hand on something hot, or, you get a headache. We all experience pain in different ways. Now, it may be acute, it may be chronic, and there are many reasons for it. But none of us want to live with pain. We all want to be pain-free so we can enjoy our lives. So it's important to take some strategies to relieve that pain. Always seek medical advice for any persistent, unexplained or unusual pain. And remember, you can treat pain when you know what it is and it's been diagnosed. You can treat it with these reflexology points using the nerve points in the charts. They're Vietnamese nerve points based on a form of reflexology called Dian Chan. And these points can be worked up to 3 times a day. And they're very quick and a very quick and easy tool to use to treat pain. Like I said, concentrate on one technique, practice that regularly, and you'll find that your pain gets less. It is manageable. It'll go away. Even if it's a really degenerative condition, it will improve, but give it time. Because as the reasons for pain are complicated, it may take time for it to be better. And also, if you've had a condition for years, it's not going to disappear overnight. So be realistic. It may take a few days or it may take a few weeks to obtain relief, but the body does rebalance. It has an amazing ability to heal itself, and it will adjust. Today, we've discussed how to treat headaches, migraines, backache, period pain, and shoulder pain. And we've also discussed taking responsibility, because this is very important in managing pain. So this means a healthy diet, exercise, meditation, water, and ensuring you prioritise your self-care. So thank you for being with me. I just want to see if you have any questions that you'd like to ask. So can you please type them in? I'm very happy to answer anything. And while you're doing that, I just want to mention that I have a special offer for you today. It's a bundle of called Treating Pain with Reflexology. And it's a practical guide and a video. So it's normally going to be $50, but at the moment it's $25. And it includes a complete guide to treating 10 common pain complaints. So even though we talked about 4 today, this has 10. So it includes headaches, which we've discussed, and migraines, also backache, neck pain, shoulder pain, knee pain, pain in your wrist and your hands, hip pain, period pain, toothaches, and also sore throats. So it can be very handy for that. And there's also comprehensive information on lifestyle. So talking about diet, what is anti-inflammatory, exercise and how you can do that, meditation, being well hydrated, getting lots of water and getting enough sleep. And there's also a video explaining the pain points. So does anyone have any questions, please? Can you type them in? There will be a recording, and the link for this will be typed in. There it is. Thank you, Dave. And also a recording will be sent out to everybody. And I'll put this link in the recording too. So you can, if you think about it, you can always get this book afterwards. And there's also the video to watch through again if you like, just to get an idea of the pain points and the things I suggested. So does anyone have any questions? Yep, great. Thank you, Claudia. Lovely to see you there. Yep, the link will, you can go to that link, or it'll be put up. The video will be sent out later today, and the recording, I should say, will be sent out later today. And I will also put the link in that. There was a handout. Yes, I mentioned there was a handout in the email. If you didn't get that, Dave, do you have the link still to the handout? Or I can put that in the email as well. I'll just write this down, so I'll put this in the email. It's on, if you go to follow the link, it takes you to my website, Claudia, and you can pay for it by credit card. Now that's okay, Dave. I can put it into the email anyway. And yeah, sorry, Claudia, on the website, if you follow the link, it goes through to my website, and there's a shopping cart there. So you just click on it, and it takes you through to credit card payment, and then it'll be emailed to you, and you'll be able to download it. And there's the ebook, and there's also a video, and the video just briefly explains again, like I did here, how to work the points, and it goes through just some of the general ones. Anything that's a bit hard to find, it'll show you in this video how to work them, because sometimes some of the ones on the nose can be a little bit tricky to find. So sorry, Claudia, if you want to put your thing to everyone as opposed to all panelists, and everyone else can see it too. Great. Okay, thank you. Thanks very much, everyone. Any other questions? Thanks, Carmel. Thanks, Marie. Thanks, Claudia. I'll send the links through in the email anyway. And I just want to thank everyone who attended live, because I want to congratulate you on being here. You've made the decision to come here and make some changes. Everyone who's going to watch this too, you decide to make some changes in your life. So thank you for that. And I also want to thank the wonderful Katie Gridley, who did all these slides for me. She's fantastic. And also David Danes from Honest Dave, who has done all the technical stuff, because it's been brilliant, because that's not my forte at all. So thank you, everyone. Is there any more questions? And otherwise we'll sign off. Any questions, anyone else? No? Okay, great. Fantastic. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And bye. I'll see you later. Thank you.